Well, the good old question, macros and weight loss. Do macros matter when you are losing weight? Losing weight on one meal a day or just losing weight in general? Yes and no. Let me explain. Macros only matter depending on what kind of diet routine you are doing. What I mean by diet routine, are you doing keto? Are you eating carbs? Macros matter then. Now, let me elaborate. With keto OMAD, which is the way I lost the majority of my weight on my 1 meal a day journey when I started losing weight on 1 meal a day back in September of 2022, macros obviously matter with keto. They also matter when you're eating carbs, but we're gonna talk about keto first and then we'll get to the carbs. Why do macros matter on keto OMAD or keto in general? In order to stay in a calorie deficit with keto, it is essential that you have 80-20 when it comes to your macro ratio. 80% fat, 20% protein, and carbs are pretty much non-existent or sparing. Why is that? You want the higher fat content, especially with OMAD, as it allows you to increase the amount of calories you eat within your eating window. Now, wait a second. Isn't weight loss about being in a calorie deficit? Of course it is. But when you are eating keto, it's very hard. And when I say keto, I mean real keto, the 80-20 rule. It's very hard to get in enough calories, especially when you're a woman, within a 30-minute to half an hour eating window. So in order to ensure that happens, you want to make sure you prioritize fat. And not only that, you want to make sure you prioritize fat because you want to be in ketosis. If you have too much protein, it will knock you out of ketosis. Yes, this is true. Gluconeogenesis. Excess protein gets converted to carbohydrates. You want to be able to do this if you're going to do this properly with keto. Now, what I love about keto OMAD is that it crushes the hunger and it's literally the easiest way to do OMAD. I wish I can do it right now, but I'm too lean and I'm dropping way more weight too quickly. With keto, you will drop weight fast, meaning that my morning weigh-in when I'm doing keto OMAD drops from my evening weigh-in, whereas with carbs, my morning weigh-in from my evening weigh-in is a bit higher because carbs allow you to hold on to water longer. And with all the injuries I'm dealing with, I want to hold on to water longer because when I'm holding on to water longer, I'm holding on to electrolytes longer. Now, if you're completely healthy and didn't go through a car accident like I did, keto OMAD's great because you see that consistent downtrend with the scale. Carb OMAD, you still get the downtrend with the scale. It's just slightly delayed. But eventually what happens when you eat carbs with your OMAD meal, your weight will be a little bit heavier in the morning, which is why you don't weigh yourself in the morning anyway. You're supposed to be weighing yourself right before you break your fast, but the weight will be heavier in the morning, but throughout the day, you'll just drop it because it's water. Your body's holding on to that water. Now, macros matter in terms of keto OMAD because it helps to keep you in a calorie deficit. Macros are important when you are trying to be in a calorie deficit in that it is easier to be in a calorie deficit when eating carbs when you go high protein. High protein is just the way to do it. High protein, moderate carbs, low fat. Why low fat? Because fat has 9 calories per gram. Protein and carbs has 4 calories per gram. So you want to go high protein because the protein keeps you satiated when you are consuming carbs, and it has a higher thermogenic effect of food when you're eating carbs, and it allows you to get away with eating less when you have high protein. So macros only matter in the sense that they help keep you in a calorie deficit. However, you can lose weight by eating copious amounts of any macros. Why? Because at the end of the day, as long as you're in a calorie deficit, it wins. I want you guys to emphasize the calorie deficit. Don't worry about the macros. Emphasize the calorie deficit. You just use the macros to manipulate your caloric intake. That's all it is. If you're doing keto OMAD, you want to go higher with the fat. If you are doing carb OMAD, you want to go higher with the protein. But you can still lose weight if you can go higher in carbs and less protein. You can still lose weight on that if you can stick to it. It's just a matter of adherence. That's all it is. It's easier to adhere to a calorie deficit, even when you're not doing OMAD, when you go higher protein. It's just easier that way because of the satiation, because it has less calories per gram. When you're doing keto, it's easier to stay in a calorie deficit with keto because remember, keto, you're removing an entire macro group, right? It's easier to stay in a calorie deficit with keto when you eat fat. Now you're trying to figure out, how does that work if fat has more calories per gram than protein? Well, the reason being is that, again, if you have too much protein while doing keto, you'll go in gluconeogenesis. What happens when you eat food with high fat, it automatically has the ratio to fat to protein, and there are no carbs. So if you're completely eliminating carbs, you're completely eliminating a whole set source of calories. So you can get away with fat kind of replacing what carbs would have replaced if you were not doing keto. I hope that makes sense. So fat is literally almost double the amount of calories that carbs and protein has. Now, if you completely remove carbs, you need another macro group to kind of substitute things. So fat will be there because fat is double the amount. So you can get away with that with keto because you are eliminating a whole macro class. But again, weight loss is about being in a calorie deficit. Whatever macro ratio allows you to stick to your calorie deficit is a win. Focus on calories. When it comes to weight loss, this is the trifecta. Number 1, calories is king. Number 2, if you're doing non-keto, protein is king. And number 3, exercise. Now, the trifecta for keto. Number 1, calories is king. Notice the similarities there? Calories is king for both of them. Calories is king for both. 2, fat is king. And number 3, exercise. Anyway, that was a quick little video just to kind of explain things right there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe button, as it's going to help me get my message out to other people who may have been struggling with their weight loss journey for years, just like I have. I have been on a weight loss journey for a long time, and I started my weight loss journey at almost 300 pounds. I did it all, and I found the most success with my weight loss journey with OMAD and with keto. So if my story can help someone get unstuck on their weight loss journey, it's a win. So doing those acts definitely helped me out. And if you made it this far into the video, just drop in a bunch of smiley face emojis, and I will see you guys very soon. Take care. Bye.